Welcome back everybody to another day, another vlog. So today was quite a drizzly one. It was very cold and very wet, but we wanted to make the most of the day and make it as worthwhile as possible. So we headed over to visit Emerald Lake today. The weather was honestly crazy. It was bucketing down. It was absolutely freezing. We did try and make the most of it. I was quite disappointed though with the views. I couldn't really see the green really popping through like you do in those photos and things when you do Google Emerald Lake. The green just wasn't really popping today because it was so misty and rainy and wet. It just constantly bucketed down the whole time and it did not let up, so we didn't really get much reprieve from the rain. So to escape it a bit, we went inside this cute little cabin that was right on the lake there. You had the most beautiful views looking out across the lake from the left and the right side. So we did try to wait out the rain and we went and got some tea and a coffee, and I went and got some warm soup to warm myself up a little bit because it was just so cold. The rain did not let up unfortunately, but we did try and make the most of it. So we went walking around the lake a little bit, but then it just got too cold and the rain started to really bucket down that we decided to cut our losses and go back to our motel room for the afternoon and play cards, have some hot tea and just relax. So the following day the weather was a little better. We decided to go visit Lake Louise and try our hand at Emerald Lake again if we had time. As we were driving up towards Lake Louise, it actually started to snow. Oh my god, we could not believe it. I mean, it was just crazy. It was the end of spring, almost summertime, and it's snowing. To our surprise, it actually snowed overnight and in the early hours of the morning. So as we drove up to the lake, there was snow everywhere, and by like snow I mean it really snowed. There was so much snow. Yesterday was wet and now there's literally snow everywhere. Honestly, the two polar opposites. Tristan didn't believe it was all fresh snow from last night. He thought it must have been there yesterday because we didn't visit Lake Louise, so he thought, oh, this was here from the last previous few days or something like that. But then I was like, no, it's new snow. So I went and asked one of the workers there and she was like, yep, it's all from last night. And we couldn't believe how soft and powdery it was. It literally reminded me of icing sugar. It was just so beautiful and soft and fluffy. I was a little bit disappointed not to see the lake at her full glory. I couldn't really see the water reflecting the beautiful mountains like you see in all the photos, but it still was an experience in itself. I had that as my vision for the trip and had to part with that expectation, unfortunately. But I did brighten up as we walked and explored around the lake. The snow gave it this beautiful, enchanting feeling, and I felt like we were in this winter wonderland. Honestly, guys, I felt like I'd walked through the cupboard into Narnia. I just couldn't describe it any other way. It was literally just a winter wonderland. Everything was just covered in snow as far as the eye could see. So I didn't actually pack for the occasion, however. In my mind, I'd imagined like summer weather like we get here in Australia. So warm, sunny. I'd be too hot and sweaty. I wouldn't need anything warm here. So the snow definitely didn't occur to me. Whoops. But thank God my Muscle Nation gear did the trick. I managed to kind of make it work for me. And I had packed one thermal top in my luggage, which I had in my bag just in case. And thank goodness I did, because honestly, I felt so cozy and warm and I was really relieved that I didn't spend the day freezing. We actually did the hike up to Lake Agnes through the snowy forest. The path was so slippery in parts and covered in snow and ice, so we definitely took the trail with caution. We weren't equipped with the right gear either, so we needed those crampons to help us grip in the snow, but that didn't stop us. We made it work and were able to kind of scramble up 3.3 kilometer stretch and back okay. The scenery though was absolutely stunning. It was so white and magical. It looked like someone had sprinkled powdered icing sugar across the whole valley. It was absolutely incredible. It was snowing as we were walking too, which just gave it that more enchanted feeling as well. I couldn't believe it. We had to stick to the trail as best we could, because if we did kind of stray from the very narrow path or step to the side to let others pass, we literally would fall into this deep abyss of snow. You didn't know where the pockets were where you were just going to kind of sink your leg halfway down. We made it to Mirror Lake first and then continued up to Lake Agnes and the treehouse. I was holding on to hope for a steaming cup of hot chocolate at the tea house at the top, just to warm ourselves up and like warm my hands up again, but unfortunately that was not meant to be. The tea house was closed, so no hot chocolate for us. The lake was mostly covered too, which was a bit disappointing. We didn't get to see the beautiful blue water reflecting the mountains like I had in my mind imagined it would be like. But the view looking around the lake, and especially over Lake Louise in the valley, was just beautiful and so worthwhile. It made the hike definitely worth it. And there was a gorgeous little waterfall flowing from Lake Agnes, which was a nice little surprise as well. As we headed back down the mountain, I couldn't believe how fast the snow was actually melting as well. On the way up, everything was coated in this thick white snow, but as we descended down the mountain, slowly I might add, because Tristan's shoes kept slipping in the snow, it was so funny. All the snow was melting, and quickly too, as the sun was peeking through now. It was almost like walking through a light rainfall as the snow melted off the trees and started to drip down. We were definitely keen for a hot chockey still, and we wanted to try visiting Emerald Lake again as the day started to fine up and the sun was out, so I wanted to take our chance and see if the lake was in better condition to look at today. Plus, the drive was quite short to Emerald Lake, so we thought we'd just take our chance. We still had a nice part of the day left, and it was a nice little activity to add in there. When we arrived at Emerald Lake, the sun was still out. I was so happy. We got a much better view of the lake today as opposed to the foggy, drizzly day we had yesterday. I was in much better spirits seeing the stunning lake today and getting to see the emerald-coloured water in all its glory. We finally were able to get that much-desired hot chocolate as well, which was a bonus, and went on a walk around the lake. It did start to rain a little bit and actually had a bit of light hail as we walked around, but that honestly didn't stop us. We just kept powering through. We made the most of the afternoon and we covered about half the loop around the lake before turning back to the car to head back to our cozy motel to get warm and dry. And that pretty much sums up our day, or our last couple of days. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you follow and like for more daily vlogs, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.